Hi there, Aries. Welcome to your August 2025 tarot reading. I'm going to start by pulling 3 cards to figure out what's been going on with you lately, what are the present energies around you now, and what is still to come for you. After that bird's eye view, big picture take, I'm going to continue to pull cards throughout the duration of this reading to go deeper into the messages that you need to hear right now. Okay, so let's get right into it. First up, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. This is a really thriving and persevering energy where it tells me that you have been focusing on long-term goals and overall rejuvenation, maybe something more holistic, quite a healing energy really. The Page of Swords is also coming through telling me an important conversation needs to be had in the month of August. I already get the impression that there is some sort of a clash of energies here, and you really want somebody to be real with you and be honest and upfront. The Ace of Wands is the energy that is coming through for further into the month of August. That actually tells me that the month ends in a more amped up and busy, speedy, kind of focused way, focused on your long-term goals, continuing to focus on your long-term goals, but perhaps taking more action around them. Okay, so Aries, you've been feeling very comfortable in your own skin lately. You've been feeling, it's like we all want to be kind of like in that Disney character energy, so to speak, where our frequency is so high that like the animals and birds just gravitate towards us. Okay, maybe not exactly, but it tells me that your aura at this time has just got this really classy kind of quality to it. This is a sense, this is perhaps in your life you have been dealing with personalities or situations that really call for you to rise above it. And you're so much happier when you do that. You just feel so much more at peace. So lately you may have been thriving in your domestic world, and perhaps there has been some improvement at home for you. This could look like renovations, or you're doing your garden up, or you're just enhancing the quality of your sacred space, your living space, and you're really pleased with the outcome, I think. I think that ultimately you know who you are at the moment, and I think where I'm feeling a little bit of clash of energy for you, Aries, is like, I think you get the impression that your time has been wasted by somebody, and that's no use to you, because this is a card of really high self-esteem, really knowing your worth and value, and then adding tax. So somebody who doesn't respect your time or see your value is going to basically kind of like cause some friction for you, because like I said, your aura is expanding, and those of people that really don't see your value probably don't see their own value. So there's just going to be a misalignment of energy that becomes incompatible. So whether or not that is the person or group of people that you need to address something with this month, or perhaps it's somebody else, this is where I want to talk about the Page of Swords. So I get the impression that a really significant conversation has to happen for you, and I think that you might be fed up with time wasters. Maybe something else, I don't know, we'll call it a B. It's like somebody isn't being honest about who they are. They're being disingenuous. So you're kind of ready to call out some BS this month. The Page of Swords is a conversation that will happen that has a significant, it's just really important. So we're going to have to clear these cards up now. And then again with the Ace of Wands, aces are so filled with potential. So this is the kind of Midas touch. This is the spinning thread into gold in a sense, right? This Ace of Wands is something that you just want to leap at probably coming up towards the end of the month. There is an opportunity, for some a golden opportunity, for some it might feel like a little bit of a risk, but the Ace of Wands is something that you're feeling very creatively inspired towards. You feel passionate about this cause. It's something that you want to act quickly on and strike while the iron is hot. So I'm excited to see what that opportunity looks like for you, but for now, let's start by clearing up the Queen of Pentacles. So I will post an extended version of this reading where, yeah, things get a little bit deep or woo-woo or out there, but things get very real in the extended versions. So I'll be posting that below. And it's actually going to be a really good time to tune into your extended this month, because I'm also going to be posting a eclipse season 6-week overview, taking Aries from the end of August to the beginning of October, which will be an exclusive on that channel as well. So I think that would be a good time, I guess. But also bearing in mind that this August eclipse season does tentatively start around the 23rd of the month with the new moon in Virgo. So just to bear that in mind, okay? Let's look now at the Queen of Pentacles. I have the Five of Wands and the King of Cups. Some of you have been having a relationship friction lately. Now, Lovers at the bottom of the deck, does that mean it has to be with your significant other? Not necessarily. This Lovers card is illustrated with a mirror, and we know that our relationships are mirrors to our inner world. So what has this latest relationship challenge been trying to teach you, Aries? There's something coming up about how you react, okay? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put it out there. This looks kind of volatile, this looks explosive. So I wonder what is coming through for you lately that is trying to teach you a new way to navigate something. And you know what? I feel like you have been surprising yourself in the best way possible. You know, you have actually been very composed and classy, like I said. So the Queen of Pentacles is somebody, and I think it's you, that has been rising above these potential triggers, or just somebody trying to goad you even. So it's not as if you're not being tested. And anytime we see like a Five of Wands like this, or any kind of five, we know that the energy is frustrating and it's a contraction. So you're kind of up against some very frustrating and challenging bone of contention here. And you know, you've been rising above it, but there's still something here. There's still some sort of a lesson. And I wonder lately if you have been, like this King of Cups, kind of delving even deeper. This is a sort of scorpionic card. So we're talking about maybe the realm of shadow work, okay? I saw something online and it was like, you know, everyone talks about shadow work, but like, how do we actually do that, like in a practical way? And somebody had suggested this along the lines of this: not somebody who annoys you, or a situation that just merely annoys you, like somebody or something that truly like triggers a wound or a response or a reaction in you. So something or someone who truly triggers you. Write down X does this and it really, XYZ does this or acts like this or behaves like this and it triggers me, and then kind of say, because I do it too, or because they're just like me. Because so often this mirror that is coming through with the Lovers card and our triggers and our reactions are really here to show us a bit about ourselves that we're not seeing or denying, and all that is to do for you is to make you feel more whole and more complete. And I feel like you have been feeling very complete and wholesome, but I want to look deeper into those relationship issues that you're having that kind of seem kind of circuitous and like a pattern, a kind of constant difficulty. Not constant like it's all the time, but like it is the constant or common denominator in all types of relationships that you have, like business, familial, romantic, platonic. It all boils down to something, and we'll look into that a little more in the extended. But your relationships lately have shown you the high road. They've shown you how you can remain really composed and classy and dignified. And I mean, that looks like a win to me anyway, okay? But I do think it's worth going a little deeper into as well. All right, so the Page of Swords is coming through next. Let's clear that one up. The King of Swords and the Knight of Wands. So this is a lot about the people then that you're going to be dealing with in the month of August, and the people that you're going to have to, is confront the right word to use? This person has a mic dropped in front of them, and I think that's you, Aries, you know, shouting it from the rooftops. The speakers are placed here. You know, you've got this word truth on the book. It's right across your throat chakra, where you're going to, you know, bring your voice into a kind of vibration that everybody needs to hear, or at least this group or one person has to know where you're coming from. So there has been something that's been a little, for you, cloudy, deceptive, or untruthful, and you want to change the dynamic there. You want to sort of speak a vibration of truth and address something, address the obvious, or address somebody being non-committal, being flaky. Somebody is not being fully transparent with you, and I think that that's what you want to speak about, and really get down to business with somebody, right? The Knight of Wands, this is kind of like showing up as your goals and your long-term goals, your plans, your efforts, and everything that you are motivated towards at the moment. And you've got like a passion and a desire to take action. There is something that you truly feel like you're chomping at the bit almost to just kind of like really go full steam ahead towards. And I get that there is some sort of frustration coming through for you, and it might be somebody who's kind of like saying like, no, we're not permitting that, or they're standing in your way, or you get the sense that somebody is kind of saying like, this isn't actually going to be above code, or this just doesn't fit the bill. And it's kind of like not a personal limitation that's been placed, like this is just coming down to maybe the law or logistics or just somebody else's point of view. And there's something that you're finding it really tough to wiggle around this month. Like, how do you get past this? How do you navigate the rules or the, you know, the kind of strictness around this? There's like a very strict energy that feels like it's being imposed on you, kind of stern, kind of heavy this month. And I get the impression that like you want to really rebel against this. Like you want to just be completely unburdened and free from the limitation. So there's again a clash of values here. So whether or not this is personal, Aries, I feel like you're going to have a conversation about it, or at least kind of seek another opinion, get more perspective, try to understand this more deeply. So the King of Swords is the limitation, okay? It's like this brick wall you're coming up against, and they're not wavering, because as far as that external force is concerned, like this is just how it is. And if you don't like it, well, you're probably going to be frustrated. Now, it's just about you redirecting this passion, this purpose, okay? Because that's what this Ace of Wands is going to be all about. Another way is possible, an opportunity, a possibility. There is still so much potency that is coming through for you from the universe, from the ripple effect that you're creating. So don't flog a dead horse. If it's going to be a no, Aries, I know you don't love to hear that, and I know Aries is a sign that often thinks, and maybe you're right, and we could all learn a thing from you, Aries, that you can actually bend the external to your will. That's probably sometimes true, but maybe there is a little bit of medicine in accepting what is wasting your time. And I did think that there was somebody who is wasting your time. It could be this situation, and it could be just that you're wasting your own time, which would be doubly frustrating. But the frustration is just a message or a signal for you to redirect your focus, because it's not something that I think you need to give up on overall. And I don't think that's the message. I think the message is don't give up, just restructure or take it in a different direction. There are an unlimited amount of ways you can go towards this. If you have to be a bit more vulnerable, and like, it's Mercury retrograde, okay? I feel like this is all also solved for you by the middle of August. I don't think that you have to, be challenged by this throughout the entire month by any means. Maybe you have to be a little bit more vulnerable and kind of approach somebody with not your tail between your legs, but with a bit more of a humble or more like open-hearted. And that's the other thing, like I said, our relationships are mirrors to what's going on in our internal world and in our psyche. And if you feel like somebody's being not fully transparent with you, or not really themselves or genuine, I wonder, Aries, could it be that you're not being fully transparent or genuine or vulnerable with them, maybe, but more so with other people, and they're just mirroring to you something in yourself? It's possible. So I'm going to clear up the Ace of Wands, and this is giving me so much hope that you are able to just redirect all of this like deep sense of mission, of importance, of like, it has to be done, it has to be me, there's a place for this in the world, this makes sense. And you just strike gold with which whatever way you take that. I want to just ask you now that, if you're not subscribed already, please consider doing that. Comment, like, share, any way you can support this channel, that would be great. And of course, I'm gonna be doing an extended, which will be linked right down below for you. I'll hopefully see you there. But if not, I'll see you next time. Let's see what's coming through with the Ace of Wands. Beautiful. Another ace, the Ace of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. This is this is on the money for you, and quite literally there could be an opportunity to make some money that unfolds very rapidly towards the end of the month. Whatever happens, Eight of Wands denotes speed, momentum. That is the opposite of this kind of like, stop right there, Aries, you're not getting past me, there are rules, there are this, there are that, and it's just like, you're not even really listening to that at times. You're just like, yeah, whatever. And I love that for you, Aries, and it certainly seems to be very effective, and that you just kind of don't give up, because both the Knight of Wands and the Eight of Wands signify like breaking free from the confines that are placed on you, and maybe marching to the beat of your own drum. But when we see two aces, we know that when you take a chance or make a move, that just generates like basically one door opening another. You take a chance, you move through a door, you take the risk on some, maybe responsible risk on some level, and you make something happen, you make a move, and then lo and behold, it kind of generates this flow, this synchronicity, this momentum behind you, and then it just leads to another ace, another opportunity. So I really love that. I'm excited to see what that actually transpires like for you. So do let me know. But yeah, Ace of Pentacles, it's more like an opportunity around something tangible. So we're thinking a job, resources, money, potentially more skills, more allies, more time, just something that you can really work with. There's a possibility for that to emerge, but I think it happens in tandem with a couple of things. It happens when you redirect your focus and just kind of know when it's not that you're giving up, it's just know when that this is just not worth it, or this isn't the way, and that there is another way. And not letting that kind of like, this is like a Debbie Downer kind of like party pooper, not letting that really dampen your spirit. Instead, it just kind of says, you're like, okay, let me conserve my energy, and I need this to happen, and I want it to happen, so I'm going to go about it in a different way. And then this Ace of Wands might appear to you as just something that opens up for you, like an opportunity or a possibility that doesn't seem clunky or doesn't seem heavy or negative even. So then you know that you're on the right track, and that's affirmed to you because it leads to more possibility. It maybe leads to less expenses, less debt. There may still be something that comes through with this that suggests like, okay, you're going to have to do a little bit of behind the scenes work before you kind of see this little shoot come into life. So there is still going to be something that is unseen about this right away, but more so, or more components of your mission here, or what you want to get done, or what you want to execute, seem to just fall into place really seamlessly. The Eight of Wands is a lot to do with commerce, with buying, with selling, with negotiating, networking. Also travel is coming up. So, both of these cards to me does signal something to do with travel. So maybe you're just really busy with what you're doing and where you're going at the moment. But the Eight of Wands is like everything has been essentially, the mud has been thrown on the wall. Let's see what sticks. By the end of the month, you're going to know what's a go ahead, and it probably won't be just, that's another way to kind of, I think, test this, almost like, is this an alignment for me? Because often when we're in alignment, we're not just pigeonholed to like, this is my only choice. Like there's no alternative. There's no open-endedness. That doesn't feel like alignment to me. And that's what I think that this King of Swords is here to do. Like that isn't an alignment for you. And not to say that everything that is in alignment for us should come easily or with no limitations or blocks, because then how would we ever persevere and figure out what's worth persevering for? But just this August, it's not the one. It's not the one that you really just have to like, bang your head against a wall essentially in order to even break through. The Eight of Wands feels like, okay, this is just seamless. And you may have, not rejections, but it might be that there is a false start, or it's not just going to be like, a total all systems go. I still think that you're going to have to use your discernment, but it's a hell of a lot easier and more free-flowing than what you're dealing with mid-month, okay? And again, that uncomfortable conversation, it might be with the King of Swords type person, or it might be an uncomfortable truth that you want to kind of get real with yourself even, okay? So I'm going to get into the extended right now. There's going to be plenty to cover there, I'm sure, and I hope to see you there. If not, I'll see you next time. Bye, Aries.